Dead, over a dozen more injured as a truck barrels through the bike lane, virtually in the shadow of the World Trade Center.
This was an act of terror, and a particularly cowardly act of terror.
The driver plowing over pedestrians and bicyclists right outside a school.
It happened so quick. I don't really know what happened. I just saw the dude with the two guns, and then all of a sudden 4 shots went off, and we all just started running.
Police say it appears to have been an intentional act. The suspected attacker shot and taken down by police. Law enforcement sources tell NBC News he was screaming Allah Akbar after the crash. A major story developing that could be the deadliest terror attack in New York City since 9/11. We have it all covered.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. It's a kind of attack law enforcement here have feared and expected, using a tactic that has become all too common around the world, a truck as a deadly weapon. The mayor of New York City officially calling today's attack an act of terror. A driver deliberately speeding down a bike path in Lower Manhattan, using a truck to barrel over everyone and everything in his way, and apparently cause as much carnage as he could. At least 8 people are dead, over a dozen more injured on this Halloween night. As parents and children head out trick-or-treating, authorities are on high alert, as we heard from New York's governor just a short time ago.
The new terrorist tactic, which they've called for publicly, are these lone wolves who commit an act of terror. We're not going to let them win.
We have it all covered tonight, including details just coming in on the suspected attacker. Let's begin with NBC's Kristen Dahlgren.
Bodies and mangled bicycles strewn across this New York City sidewalk today. At least 8 people dead and more than a dozen injured after this truck sped down a popular bike path just after 3 p.m., intentionally hitting pedestrians and cyclists.
We have multiple people on the ground from Chambers all the way up to Houston.
The truck also targeted a school bus, injuring 2 adults and 2 children inside. This video posted to Snapchat purports to show the suspect after he hopped out of the truck, running near the scene with something in his hand.
I saw this dude with 2 guns, and the guy with the 2 guns for some reason was running around. He was getting chased, and then all of a sudden 4 shots went off, and we all just started running out this way.
He was shot by an on-duty patrol officer and taken into custody. The suspect is now being treated at a local hospital.
This was an act of terror, and a particularly cowardly act of terror aimed at innocent civilians.
The NYPD, which had been focusing on heavy security for tonight's Halloween parade just a few blocks away, now investigating this incident as an act of terror. According to law enforcement officials, the driver screamed Allah Akbar while carrying a paintball gun and a pellet gun. They described the suspect as a 29-year-old man of Middle Eastern appearance.
We will be vigilant. More police everywhere. You'll see them in the airport. You'll see them in the tunnels. It's not because there's any evidence of any ongoing threat or any additional threat.
The suspect's vehicle, a rental truck, like so many other recent incidents, traveled several blocks before stopping in the shadow of the World Trade Center. The hero officer who stopped the carnage moments after it began, credited with preventing more lives from being lost.
And as we see all the lights and police presence still out here tonight, we're also seeing kids and adults walking by in their costumes. New York's famed Halloween parade will go on tonight, but authorities say there will be an increased police presence here and around the city tonight, Lester.
All right, Kristen Dahlgren tonight, thank you. There's late word this evening on the name of the suspect. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams is following that and has the latest on the investigation. Pete?
Lester, he's a 29-year-old immigrant, a lawful permanent resident from Uzbekistan who came to the U.S. 7 years ago. Several federal officials tell us tonight his name is Sayfullo Saipov, S-A-I-P-O-V, and he was carrying a driver's license with an address in Tampa, Florida. Court records show he also had some minor brushes with the law 2 years ago in Pennsylvania, and back then gave an address in Paterson, New Jersey. So investigators are now working to trace his movements into New York, and they have the truck rental record, which is an important lead. They'll also be interviewing family members and friends, and of course Saipov himself, who's in the hospital. And a big question, was he in touch with terror groups directly, or was he simply inspired? Lester?
All right, Pete Williams, thanks. My colleague Savannah Guthrie is in Lower Manhattan near the scene of this awful incident. She's been talking to witnesses about what they saw. Savannah, what are you hearing tonight?
We talked to people down here, Lester, and they're just in shock. This is a residential area. This is Halloween. This happened at the very moment that the schools around here were just letting out and kids were starting to spill onto the streets and trick-or-treating. There's a middle school, an elementary school that is right here where this scene ended. Also a community college, and I spoke to a young woman who was studying in the library this afternoon when she heard shots ring out. Take a listen.
I ran over and I saw this truck that was smashed. I saw dead bodies on the floor, and I saw bikes all across the highway. And then I'm hearing in my ear a shooter. All of this stuff is happening, and I was trying to process, like, am I safe? Is he found? Is my school in danger? Am I in danger? It was just like all these rush of emotions that were happening that I didn't know. That was the uncertainty is what was the problem, because I'm seeing actual dead people right there in front of me with bikes all across the highway, and I've never seen that.
There was so much uncertainty and so much panic. In fact, I live in this neighborhood, Lester. I was just about to take my kids trick-or-treating when I heard from my preschool that the kids were all in lockdown. I have a friend who's got a son in that very elementary school. He's probably in about 7th grade. He was walking out, heard the gunshots, and just started running toward home. And that was the scene that was repeated over and over again. I mean, this is an area that would have normally been full of life at this hour, full of kids in costumes, full of businesses opening their door. And it bears repeating. I mean, this is just in the shadow of the World Trade Center. I look up and I can see the new building right there. And so this is a city and a neighborhood very much trying to process all that has happened today.
And Savannah, you know that bike path well, the pedestrian path. It is protected, but at the same time, it seems like it wouldn't give folks much room to get out of the way.
No, not at all. And as you know, the bike path is separate. I mean, there's a little bit of space between this big highway, the West Side Highway, a main thoroughfare here in Manhattan, and this bike path. But according to one witness I spoke to, the truck was traveling at a pretty high rate of speed. He guessed about 40, 50 miles an hour. And so, yes, there are some barricades, but it was clearly no match for a driver who was intent on doing such violence.
All right, Savannah Guthrie. Savannah, thanks. And Bill Bratton is the former commissioner of the NYPD. He's an NBC News senior law enforcement and counterterrorism analyst. Commissioner, how hard is it to prevent something like this? We know, as we noted, there are stanchions. They put blocks around various high-profile areas. What more can they do?
Reality is, Lester, you can't ball the world. You cannot barricade every walkway. Central Park has thousands of people at any given time. It's actually fortunate more people were not injured in this incident, that there's a major school there that was getting out a few minutes after this event occurred. If he had come down there just a few minutes later, it could have been even more tragic. Can't prevent them all. That New York has done a very good job over the years since 9/11, but just in the last now 13 months, 2 major attacks. The bombing, certainly right after Jimmy O'Neill took over from me as commissioner, and then the attack today, the attack within sight of the World Trade Center.
And, of course, the commissioner noting today that if not for the action of that one police officer to shoot the suspect, there might have been more carnage. Thank you very much. Hallie Jackson is at the White House. Hallie, what are you hearing from there? Any word from the president about this?
Yeah, a few new pieces of information here, Lester. The White House says the president is receiving ongoing updates, essentially, about what is happening in Manhattan, including a couple of tweets. The president writing, in NYC, looks like another attack by a very sick and deranged person. He says law enforcement is following this closely, adding, not in the USA. Within just the last couple of minutes, too, the president is now explicitly calling this a terrorist attack, and he is seeming to link it to ISIS, writing in a second tweet here, we must not allow ISIS to return or enter our country after defeating them in the Middle East and elsewhere. Enough. We should note here the First Lady has actually been in New York City today. She was there for previously scheduled meetings. She has tweeted her thoughts and prayers, as has the president. Remember, Trump Tower, where the family's apartment is only about 4 miles from the bike path where all of this happened. An attack like this is troubling for any president, of course, but for this president, it hits particularly close to home. Lester?
Hallie Jackson at the White House, thank you. And today's attack is just the latest in which an attacker has used a car or truck to mow down people on sidewalks or walkways in cities around the world. ISIS and al-Qaeda have both called on followers to use vehicles to kill innocent civilians in sudden and dramatic attacks. And as we said, they're very hard for law enforcement to prevent. Let's get more on that now from NBC's Tom Costello.
It's a growing terror tactic that's been used around the world with devastating results. July 2016, a truck on the boardwalk in Nice, France, plowed through crowds of people on holiday. 86 killed, 200 injured. Similar tactics used on the London Bridge last May, 8 dead. Another 5 killed in March. Around the world, attacks in Barcelona, Stockholm, Berlin. And in the U.S. last year at Ohio State University, 11 injured. For years, ISIS and al-Qaeda have called for just this type of low-tech attack, using cars and trucks to mow down and kill as many people as possible.
These small-scale attacks using tools, not even weapons, but tools that are widely available, make actually suppressing this entirely not just difficult, but truly impossible.
In New York last May, it wasn't a terror attack, but a deranged suspect on drugs who killed a woman and injured 22 after driving through a crowd in Times Square. NYPD Commissioner James O'Neill told Lester earlier this year the threat from trucks is top of mind for the NYPD Critical Response Command, now using city trucks to wall off large public gatherings, including Thanksgiving.
We had a ring of sanitation sand trucks around the whole route to make sure there were no unauthorized vehicles on the route. We did the same thing on New Year's Eve, and then the 4th of July is always a challenge.
After ISIS called for targeting New York's Thanksgiving parade last year, police visited 148 truck rental facilities, telling them to be aware of any suspicious persons who might try to rent a truck. Tonight, they're tightening security at New York's Halloween parade and at the World Series game in L.A., but the dilemma for law enforcement, anyone can rent a truck and follow the ISIS playbook for a lone wolf vehicle attack. Lester?
Tom Costello, thank you. We'll take a turn now to the new fallout from Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 campaign. President Trump today taking to social media to slam a former campaign aide who pleaded guilty to misleading the FBI, calling him a liar. We get more from NBC News White House correspondent Kristen Welker.
The guilty plea of George Papadopoulos is providing fresh insight into Robert Mueller's wide-ranging investigation of Russia's attempt to influence the presidential campaign. When Papadopoulos was sentenced October 5th, one of the prosecutors described it as, quote, an ongoing investigation, of which this case is a small part. He admitted lying to the FBI by saying he wasn't a Trump campaign volunteer when he met with the Russians who bragged that they could deliver what they called dirt on Hillary Clinton. NBC News has learned one of those questioned just last week, according to sources with direct knowledge, was Sam Clovis, a Trump campaign aide who appeared to approve of a Papadopoulos request to go to Russia for the campaign. But Clovis's lawyer says he would have never approved of that.
Are you going to pardon me for that report? Thank you. Thank you.
President Trump ignored shouted questions today, but called his former advisor, Papadopoulos, a low-level volunteer and a proven liar. Mr. Trump's outside advisors also took aim.
The guy he was the coffee boy.
He was not a person who was involved with the day-to-day operations of the campaign.
The president's chief of staff acknowledging the probe is taking a toll.
It is very distracting to the president, as it would be to any citizen, to be investigated for something.
There is also discord about the path forward. The president's legal team urging him to stay the course, to keep cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller, even as his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, is advising the president to fight back very hard against Mueller. On Capitol Hill, bipartisan calls for the investigation to proceed unencumbered.
I have zero concern that Mr. Mueller is in jeopardy of losing his job.
I have had full faith and confidence in Bob Mueller from the beginning.
Late today, the special counsel told a federal judge that the president's former campaign chair, Paul Manafort, who's been charged with 12 counts of money laundering and conspiracy, poses a serious flight risk and will be closely monitored in home confinement. Lester.
Kristen Welker outside the West Wing tonight. Thank you. Still ahead, titans of tech on the hot seat before Congress. What they revealed today about those Russian efforts to